Yeah, so I went to tropical North Queensland with the family, and all I got was this crappy t-shirt. It's not true. I actually like it. It's got a nice little picture there, and I just assume you can see this. I can't see if you can see it because I can't see what you can see because my eyes are here and your eyes are there, and my eyes are away from the camera and your eyes are looking at the screen. But I'm assuming you can see it. You probably couldn't hear what I said. It doesn't matter. Welcome, my stars of Orion. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about providing validation and support for autistic people and their loved ones. And isn't that going well for me? Welcome to another edition of Unmasked, Unedited, Unwatchable. This may be a slightly different version of that because I feel like there's a couple of like crocodile videos that I shot on my phone for the boys that you might want to see. You know, like we went to North Queensland, yeah? Now, just so we're clear, this video isn't about North Queensland, but it features in the story. What's this video about, Orion? Well, I think this video is about being an autistic adult and navigating travel, but also navigating returning home and all the challenges you might not have thought would pop up, that I know pop up because I've experienced it many times. So going away, but also coming home, and how that can actually impact you as well. And I want to talk about a little philosophy I've read about called the return flight philosophy. Also, this is important if you are a parent or carer of an autistic child, a neurodivergent child. This is also important if you are simply an autistic adult like me who has an autistic child or neurodivergent kids and has gone on family holidays. You're still alive. I find that surprising. Nevertheless, it's an unmasked, unedited, unwatchable video, which means basically you're going to watch me just talk and share. There's no script. No script, just me talking about some stuff that's on my mind, and hopefully this in some way resonates, connects, validates you, supports you. That's my hope. And that's, as a rule, for the 3 or 4 people that watch these particular videos, that tends to be the result. So I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so let's go back to the start. I talked about North Queensland. So the first thing is Australia has states, yeah? Like America, for example. Technically, you could say we are the United States of Australia. So technically, we're the USA too. If you want to be technical, we're not though. But you see what I'm saying? We were once a continent of colonies, right? Victoria, New South Wales, blah blah blah. Yeah, Queensland, blah blah blah. Okay, and then we decided to federate, to create a federation nation, a nation of states. An example of the reverse: New Zealand, right? New Zealand. No states. I'm assuming I'm right in saying that. That's my understanding. New Zealand is it's a nation state. It's not made up of states. It's just New Zealand. Yeah? Okay. So we went to the state of Queensland. Now, I'm going to keep referring to it as North Queensland. But I don't want you to think that North Queensland is another state. North Queensland is merely me talking about the part of Queensland we went to. Like you say, we went down to the very south of Texas, right? So it's not South Texas. That might be a state. I'm going to move on. What I'm saying is we went to tropical North Queensland for a 2-week winter getaway with our family. Already, that's a bad decision, Orion. Okay. Now, tropical North Queensland, for those who are wondering, you probably read my t-shirt, we went to a regional city called Cairns. 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 Beautiful. Bloody beautiful. Why did we go there in the middle of winter? Well, frankly, it's just about paradise in winter. And why is that? Well, in Celsius terms, Cairns in winter, where we live, in Victoria in winter, Cairns is about up to 10 to 20 degrees warmer. So like down here in Victoria in winter, we're looking at, kind of like between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius for a winter's day. It's cold. You go up to Cairns, and every day it's 28, 30 degrees Celsius. Like, that's beautiful weather. That's shorts, t-shirts, everyone feels more relaxed. They can play in the water and have fun, blah, blah, blah. So I hope we get that. We've cut that off and moved on. And the other thing I'd say about Cairns, if you're wondering, Cairns is the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. You might not have heard of it. It's just a small attraction we have here in Australia. Okay, now, aside from the Great Barrier Reef, there's another thing you should know about Cairns. When you go to Cairns, and it's a goddamn it beautiful place to go in winter. I wouldn't go in there in summer. Because I don't have the ability to deal with the level of humidity and heat and showers and floods and wet season and all that. That's not my thing. But regardless of when you go there, just one thing. You know when it's really hot and you're really warm and you're loving it, you want to go down to the beach and have a little dip? Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's a no-go. Huh? What are you talking about? It's a no-go. It's a no-go. Yeah, if you go to Cairns, don't go in the beaches. Why can't you go into the beaches in Cairns? Well, you can. There's just giant big-ass signs. The first thing is stingers. So, different types of jellyfish and stuff. That'll dead set kill you, right? And the other one, and probably the bigger one, would be crocodiles. That's right, crocodiles. Now, let's clear up a little myth here, by the way. Yes, as a rule, they're probably the gigantic monstrosity saltwater crocs that could literally bite you in half, right? And by the way, these crocs hide under the mud of the beach when the tide is out. As in sand, mud, water. Crocs not in water, crocs hiding in mud. Oh, not good. Here's the myth. Saltwater crocs only go in salt water. Freshwater crocs only go in fresh water. Rubbish. Myth busted. Here's the thing. Saltwater crocs are called saltwater crocs, ironically, because that's where they were discovered. And guess what? Freshwater crocs were called freshwater crocs because that's where they were discovered. Point is, they both can quite happily adapt to either environment. So you've got any kind of croc wandering around, ready to bite you in half. So the beaches aren't so attractive. Bloody beautiful beaches, but you just can't go on them. And then they have these things called enclosures. That makes sense. Okay, so what's the enclosure? So I've got an autistic kid who's used to going down to the beach where we live, just running into the water, having fun, doing his thing. You're telling me he needs to just swim in enclosures. Can you see them? Oh, no, you can't see them. There's just two flags on the sand, and you kind of just got to swim in between those flags and the sand. So when you say enclosure, you don't mean like netting that goes up to the sky or something that I can physically see. I'm like in a trampoline almost. Oh, no. There's it's an enclosure under the water. What do you mean under the water? It's an enclosure. It's like an enclosure under the water line that, kind of keeps everything out. Keeps everything out? Okay, but the enclosure stops below the water line? Yeah. Okay, are the things that can kill you able to swim? Oh, they are. They are. Well, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I can get over that enclosure you speak of there. Unless the enclosure is 6 foot tall, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I think so the water's waving up and down over the enclosure. Oh, there's a croc. G'day, mate. Welcome to the enclosure. Oh, what the hell enclosure? So you tell an autistic kid, don't go to the beach, mate. I mean, good luck. So that's fun. So the only real other option is to swim in pools. Now, pools are fine. Absolutely. You got to find them, though. Either you got to have them at where you stay, or you got to go to local pools. Luckily for us, we went to, those caravan parks in Australia. I think they call them Big Four. Those caravan parks where you can camp in a tent. I don't know why you'd do that with an autistic child. That'd be great. Go to your room. Just stim loudly in the corner there. I'll just be here, peeing into a bucket. You can take a caravan, so you can camp. You can take a caravan there, or you can, hire a cabin. Right? That's what we did. So we hired a cabin, right? And we got it because we need to be able to, cook meals that the kids will eat and wash clothes every 2 minutes. We need a little laundry, a little kitchen, blah, blah. Okay, so at this really cool caravan park, camp park, Big Four, whatever you want to call it, there was multiple pools, which was a blessing from the gods. So the boys had lots of fun. Okay, so This is the thing, right? People don't understand the lengths that autistic kids... Is that the right way of putting it? People don't understand the lengths parents of autistic kids must go to in order to achieve any goal on holidays. So the first thing was we're flying out from Melbourne to Cairns and the flight's like 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, we well know, we will literally have to get up based on the distance to the airport and the boys getting ready. We will literally have to get up around about 3 in the morning in order to get everyone ready, get them in the car, drive to the airport and meet the gate or whatever. Now that didn't make a lot of sense. So we figured we'll just get a hotel room at the airport, a hotel at the airport. We'll just do that. And that went well. And, what are we talking about here? We're talking about, like 2 beds in one little hotel room. And, it's just every hour just keeps ticking by. Oh, geez, it's 9. Oh, geez, it's 10. Oh, it's 11. Oh, it's midnight. They're still awake. They're very excited, aren't they? This is great. Maybe we should just drive home. So, people don't realize... I assume, there are neurotypical people with neurotypical kids that sure have troubles on holidays, but as a rule, just go on holidays. What do you mean? You pack your bags, you pack the car, get the kids up, drive to the airport, you get on the goddamn plane, you have your holiday. I saw families on holidays in Queensland, and the kids would walk quietly and slowly with the parents. And they would stop when they said, and they would do what they said, and they were together. That's not my experience. My experience is kind of like if you're watching the final stages of an Olympic marathon, right? The parents are, those people that are about to die, and that's really fun to watch because they don't know where they are and they're kind of like stammering down the road and like people are trying to hold them up and they fall down and they get back up. Yeah. And the kids are like the fast, crazy gold medal people at the front who, after running for 2 hours, don't know they shouldn't be able to sprint anymore. So you got one kid, he's about 10 Ks up the track. The next kid's maybe 5 Ks up the track. And then the parents are staggered, slowly dying to themselves, a few Ks apart. That's our family going for a walk on holidays. You see neurotypical families, they're walking down the street like a family. I'm like, what's your secret? It's not... Anyway, so... This is just an insight into life as a parent of autistic kid or kids and going on holidays. Right? We haven't even left the airport. We haven't even left the hotel to go to the airport, and we're already beyond tired and over it. Right? We haven't even got to the airport. So no worries. The plane. We get on the plane. We fly to Cairns. We get there. All good. Thank you very much. Now. There's a few things that obviously you realize, can't check in till the afternoon, usually probably flight gets in at lunch, blah, blah, blah. So you do the best you can to keep kids busy, try to give them food, you try to keep them safe. But, we eventually, I'm trying to think when we got there. We eventually get there in the afternoon and we're all absolutely exhausted except the kids. And the bottom line is you've just got to go with the flow. So here's a bit of insight and advice. As autistic parents, or as parents of autistic kids, because I'm both, obviously, but, as parents of autistic kids, number one, let's be clear. You have lost your right, not your fault, but you have lost your right to expect to go on holidays for you, or you and your partner, evermore, until they're grown up. Let's go on a holiday here because it'll be really fun and the kids might like it. I'd love to go to this destination and the kids might like it too. That's not how it works. From now on, it's like, okay, the holidays are coming up, school holidays. Let's plan a trip we know will be at least nicer than here weather-wise, and the kids will love, right? So instead of going to this place or this resort, let's go to this place and this resort that's kid-friendly or obsessed about keeping kids happy. And there's nothing in between. That's the first thing you lose. The second thing you lose is expectations. If you have any expectations about anything that's going to happen, all you're doing is torturing yourself, right? Like a classic example would be when I was younger, I'd have an expectation that before I would start my day fully, or if I left the hotel or whatever, I'd get myself a coffee or you get myself a drink or blah, blah, blah. Now, the idea that if I was even able to access a non-instant coffee, in other words, a espresso-made coffee, the idea that I would even be able to access that in any given day was a pure fantasy. In fact, was like an aspiration. And if it happened, it was amazing. So that's the difference between what was my reality and what is my reality. It's all about, well, we're here, the kids are excited, we've just got to take them to the pool, right? We take them to the pool. Let them swim, let them have fun, let them, blow out the energy, all good. I mean, I'm literally talking, not even really day one, this is day 0. And our youngest, who's 6 at the time, he was going upstairs to a little water slide for, little people, and he slipped back and he scunned the heel of his foot, right? So behind his foot, the heel, he scunned it. In other words, he scraped it, took the skin off it, right? It bled. And, Band-Aid, bit of time, bit of love, bit of hugs, Band-Aid, he's back at it. Next day, back at it. No Band-Aids, doesn't want anything, and he's doing his thing. He's swimming in pools, he's having fun, he's playing, he's doing things. And as the day progresses, and then the third day starts, the pure redness around this is exploding. It's clearly an infection that is running up his foot and then his leg. And we know this. So we had to take him. We're talking like day 2, day 3, straight to a emergency care place. And he had to have, number one, he had to have it cleaned out, like infected tissue cleaned out, and a big bandage. And he had to take antibiotics for 5 days. 4 times a day for 5 days. In addition to this, you're gonna like this one. Oh, and you can't get your foot wet. Huh? We've come from Melbourne to Cairns to stay at a kids resort where they can swim all day. Yeah, that's fine. Just don't let him get his foot wet. What do you mean? Put a bag around it? No, he can't go into water. For how long? Well, at least 3 or 4 days. Huh? Okay, so now we've basically got till the end of the first week of it. Luckily, we're there for 2 weeks. The end of our first week before our one child can even go into a pool. Now, of course, Conan, the autistic child who's 11, he doesn't want to swim anymore because his brother can't. And he feels bad and he doesn't want to do it. Like, mate, it's okay. No. So no one's swimming. That's right, no one's swimming. How good's that? Okay, cool. So we have to play inside and go on adventures. Okay, so we went on a few adventures. We went to the aquarium and like a little wildlife place and, a few little adventures walking around different places. And I find the key issue with these things is transitions. Like they're excited to go to the aquarium. But when we get to the aquarium, they're dysregulated on the transition of getting into the aquarium. So we're here, we've got to get in line, we've got to get our ticket, we've got to go in, yeah? And then once they're in, they're so anxious about the transition of leaving and what's next. I don't know if this is your experience, but I promise you, without a word of a lie, we might have spent, $200 on tickets, and it's like a 2 or 3 level aquarium. It's big. We went through the start and we're at the gift shop at the end in under 5 minutes. Under 5 minutes. Now, again, expectations. Well, that's ridiculous. We cannot spend $200 for our autistic kid or our kids to run around in the aquarium for 5 minutes and then want to get something in the gift shop and go home. I want to go home now. I want to get a soft toy and go home. We can't do that. Yes, you can. Do they talk about going to the aquarium? Yes. Do they love it? Did they enjoy it? Did they think about things they saw and experienced? Yes. Did it, again, feel like another Olympic sprint event? Yes. Did it seem like it was $200 to you, you give us tickets, our kids run through the maze, they come at the other end to get a soft toy that we have to pay $400,000 for? That's what it was, and that's an experience of being a neurodivergent parent, a parent of neurodivergent kids. Are we bothered by that? No. What are we going to do? Hold them down? Make them go again? It doesn't make any sense. But you go through these experiences and they stack up. They stack up, right? Every time you do this, my wife and I agree. It's and I don't mean this in a bad way, but being a parent having to deal with this, it's a little piece of a traumatic experience that kind of piles up one on one. And by halfway through the holiday, you feel like you've got PTSD. Not because your children are bad or do anything wrong, but because everything you do is so heightened. It's so beyond the realm of the experiences of any other family. Like the idea that we would slowly and amicably walk through, it's not, no. Or, we would not just go to the shops, the same shops every day, because that's the place that had the right drink or the right food or the cool toys, or, you know what I mean? Like, this is something you can't even, I don't think I can even explain it to you in ways apart from, going on holidays as autistic people or parents of autistic kids is in effect a series of little traumatic events that pile up, and you will have some sort of level of PTSD from that experience. But the reason you do that is because the benefits to the children are great. They grow, they learn, they experience, they come back wanting more. And I don't think I'm saying this to make you feel good. I think I'm saying this to hopefully validate or let people know that you're not alone, and no one will ever know the true cost, the true sacrifice that parents make to provide for their autistic kids, to give them better lives. No one will know that. I'm not devaluing that at all, because I live it. The true cost, the true sacrifice. I'm not joking when I say actual PTSD from going on holidays because of the heightened experiences. I don't remember a single event we did on a 2-week holiday that was relaxing or relaxed or like enjoyable in the experience. I'm not saying we didn't look back and go, wow, how fun was that going to the crocodile farm and seeing the crocodiles with the boys. But when we were there, it wasn't relaxed or enjoyable. Does that make sense? But looking back on it, everyone's like, how cool was that? What a great experience the family had. But when we're in those moments, I sometimes I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack or a panic attack, or I'm just going to drop dead. I think a couple of times during the holiday, I might have even said to Renee, I'm pretty sure I've shrunk my life expectancy by another decade just going on this holiday. And it's just the factual nature of it. Now, let me say this. About a day after we were told the little one can't get wet, him and his brother were playing inside. You know what's going to happen. They were playing inside, having a great time. We had to get some little like chocolates, little wrapped chocolates for our little guy, because his age and his weight dictated that the antibiotics he had to have to kill the infection on his foot, which was literally tracking up his leg, it wasn't good, was liquid form because of the dosage and the weight. Yes, liquid form antibiotics don't taste good. They can say this one's strawberry, this one's tutti frutti, this one's bubblegum. They all taste like, well, what am I just saying? A monkey's ass. That's eating bad fruit. I don't know. They're not good. They're not good. So we had to get chocolates. Look, sip it down. Here's a chocolate, take taste away. That doesn't work, by the way. And we're talking like he would sip a mil a time. Sip, drink, sip. It took forever. It was 4 times a day feeding a 6-year-old liquid antibiotics. It was a nightmare. 4 times a day for a week. Okay, the chocolate wrapper. That's where it comes into the story, my friends. Stand by. The revenge of the chocolate wrapper. Just happened to be a chocolate wrapper in the room the boys were playing. And yes, our little guy was on the bed. He didn't jump off the bed. He didn't fall off the bed. He simply got off the bed to walk somewhere. Got off the bed, slipped on the one chocolate wrapper they left on the ground in there, fell forward and hit his head on a sharp handle of a bedside table in the room of the cabin. Got a hole right there in his head, just above between his 2 eyes. I mean like a hole in his head. A laceration that required intervention. That's right. Family, get back in the car. I know he took him to the emergency care for the infection yesterday, but we got to go back, this time to the ED of the Cairns Hospital, to get the guy's head put back together. That's right. Okay, long story short, it was like an open cut and a bit jagged at the top, but it was just the right size where they didn't have to stitch it. They could glue it together and then put those steri strips. He heard wrong and he said, fairy strips? What do you mean, fairy strips? You want to put you want to glue a fairy strip to my head? This is what he's saying. Fairy strips? Fairy strips? Like, that's right, buddy. They're fairy strips. They're magic. They're going to help you, right? Okay, so they glue it. This took a long time, by the way. Right, they glue it, they steri-strip it, and then they go, okay, cool, all set. That should come back together nicely. All good. Just one thing. Don't get it wet for about 5 days. That's right. That's right. Now we're up to the weekend before our final week there, before he can even get in the pool again, /Conan/us. You can't write this stuff, my friends. You can't write this stuff. And I'm telling you, if I had 1 second to live a normal holiday life, with a normal family, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it. But I mean, God help me. Does it ever get easier than this? You can't. The revenge of the chocolate wrapper, my friends. You want to see a Kinder Surprise? I've got a Kinder Surprise for you, mate. Hole in your head, right? You see what I'm saying? Not good. So we went to. We had to go to more adventures, yeah. And what's funny is every time we go on adventures, that people don't realize, why does the autistic kid get so triggered or become so dysregulated when they're doing new things or going to new places or think. I can't believe people don't realize this. I don't care if it's work, school, home, holiday. It's transitions, guys. 2 things, transitions and the demand avoidance of the transitions. Like, this isn't complicated, guys. I don't believe for a second you can blame the autistic child for acting how they act in these situations. You failed to understand there's a transition or there's, a new thing, and because you haven't provided social stories or any kind of insights or examples or, thoughts, feelings, heads up, they are going to struggle. Now, we do that. Okay, guys, what would you like to do tomorrow? Would you like to go to blah or blah? Never lots of things, just 2 things. You look great. You'd like to go to the croc farm. Fantastic. All right, you're happy to go? Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get up tomorrow morning. We're going to have our breakfast. We're going to shower. We'll get dressed. We're going to leave at about this time so we can get there at about this time. And then we're going to have some fun. Then we'll leave around lunch. We'll go to blah and have lunch because we know you like that. And then we'll drive home, and then home meaning the resort. And then for the rest of the afternoon, you guys can just play. Right? Okay, so that's what we do. That's the extent we go to, yet there'll still be dysregulation because the transition of, I'm here in this resort, you want me to get into the car, sit in the car for an hour to go to this place, then I've got to wait in line, get your ticket, you go in, right? And then, I get to go on a boat to watch people feed crocs. Amazing, let's do it. No, we were given a particular time and our time is this. So we have to wait till then, right? That's how the world works. So we've got to walk around the park and look at the animals. One kid wants to go straight to the crocs. The other kid wants to go straight to these animals. I don't know, the birds or the kangaroos. There's different, and we've got to manage this together. And this is an example of, so we know there's going to be dysregulation and pushback based on the transitions of normal thing to a new adventure, but also the demand avoidance of, well, I don't want to wait in line. Well, I don't want to go in here and stand here and wait another line to get on a boat, or I don't want to go to this first, I wanted to do the boat, and then, right, there's all these things, and that you have to manage those things. Imagine if you didn't do any of the managing. Yeah, that's what pretty much everyone does and wonders why they react so badly. So that's a good little insight. I hope that helps some people. So the point of view is everything we did for them. We provided them with opportunities. We provided them with plenty of opportunities to decide, to help decide, and all the information they needed. But at no stage was it ever relaxing or enjoyable in a neurotypical sense. But every time we finished it and we had time to stop and think about it, we all enjoyed the experience. We all thought about it nicely. Okay? So that's just a reality people have to understand. It's the way it is. So now we've got one kid with a wound on his foot that's tracking up his leg and a hole in his head. And an autistic brother who refuses to swim until his brother can swim, which is classic autistic people. And they're basically forced to, do what they can do, play how they can play without getting wet, and report back to the house, every 4 to 6 hours for our littlest guy to suck down poison, basically, in his mind. And, I mean, this isn't this isn't a fun, kind of adventure. But anyway, we went to the croc farm, and this is a part that, I've got some videos I can probably show you. Because I know this is unscripted and unedited, but I said it would be a bit different. So I can just play some footage while I'm talking, and you can just kind of check out the footage. But basically we went to, in North Queensland, north of Cairns, I think it's called Hartley's, and it's a croc farm, and it's a really cool place. It's got lots of fantastic enclosures, some fantastic, displays and things, and lots of information, and different types of crocs and different types of animals. And the boys really loved getting to see different types of animals, and then essentially only really cared about seeing all the crocs, saltwater, freshwater. And then we got a chance to go on a boat and actually watch crocs get fed. And basically, our littlest guy he wanted the seat closest to the side of the boat, and then you had Conan in the middle, and then me behind Conan, and then Ray behind me, and we're right there, and we just happened to pick a row where the croc was getting fed right in front of us. So I mean, honestly, the croc is feeding and jumping up and down within probably less than a meter of us. So it was an unbelievable experience to see a proper, legit saltwater croc get fed. Not to mention the massive crocs we saw while we went through that little lagoony, swampy place where they live on that boat. So it was an incredible experience, and the boys obviously absolutely loved it. And that's the funny thing. We get back from a holiday with PTSD. They don't even remember how the feeling of the foot felt, or the taste of the medicine, or the pain of the head thing. They don't even want to talk or acknowledge about it. All they care about is how warm it was, how good it was to have yummy treats and go to the aquarium and see crocs and swim with new friends they met from all over the world. I mean, that's all they talk about. So although the experience for the parents, and certainly, by the way, for the autistic kids, can be quite stressful and anxiety-ridden, and and for the parents, traumatic in a way, the end result is nothing but great experiences and growth opportunities for their kids. And that's where we are. As parents of autistic kids, that's where we are. Now, let's switch from there to... I want to switch from there to being an autistic person, being an autistic adult and traveling, how it just affects me. But before I do that, I want to quickly mention this. I've been advocating for quite a while now, right? Over half a decade kind of thing. And I always try to do whatever is real, right? I don't try to lie or bullcrap or, pump up something that's not worth being pumped up. Because I'm actually here to provide real insights to help autistic people. I don't really give a shit about organizations that think they're looking good because they say they do good. Majority of, autism-run organizations where I'm from in Australia, rely heavily on government funding. Now, if you rely heavily on government funding, then you can see that there's the government funding and there's the corporate funding and all the other types of, commercial funding and partnerships. If that's your largest reliance, that's your largest customer. In other words, you take from them, they want something in return. Now, as a rule, it's not, we'll be happy if autistic people have better lives. I'm sorry, it's just not true. Most Australian organisations care little in putting genuine and actual time and effort into meeting the needs of all autistic people. And they get sucked into the trap that if they can just find one group or one person that says it's great, they can hang their hat on that. I even saw a post from an Australian organisation that was gloating or was excited about being nominated for, best promotion. They did a promotion about, getting to know autism or something, and they were, oh, how good are we? We've been nominated for best promotion or something at these awards. And the first thing I thought to myself is, the only people that you should care about giving you awards are autistic people. If you care about getting awards from corporations who are just looking for cool marketing tricks, then you've forgotten what you're there for. You aren't there to get awards in advertising or promotions. You are there taking money to service autistic people. But you've forgotten that, and you can't say you haven't. Who's nominating you? Who's entering? What are you entering for? The only thing you should be entering is in a conversation with autistic people going, how did this work? And by the way, if we can have government-funded studies that have actually been done in the last couple of years that have said that the lives of autistic Australians or autistic people are very bad and have to get better, then all those things that you've been doing in the past haven't made their goal, haven't reached their goal, haven't worked. Oh, Ryan, you can't just say it just hasn't worked. But yes, you can. Because I'm autistic and I've got an autistic son, and life is just as hard now on a daily basis advocating for him than it ever was. I'm just so sick of these organisations that take money from corporations and the government, which is tax-funded money, and then use it in ways to just pay more staff to do more things that have little to no relevance to actually helping autistic people. Now, this is where my rant's coming from. Okay, so as you know, we travelled. That means we've gone through airports. Now, there's the sunflower lanyard scheme. I'm more than happy to say that I think the intention of the sunflower lanyard scheme is beyond in good faith. It's fantastic. I love the idea of it. I love the people that work tirelessly to spread it across the world. And I love the intention on everything that they're doing. The breakdown here is from the intention and the implementation to the actual practical carrying out of it, the undertaking of the actual program, right? So this is where it breaks down. So you go through Melbourne Airport, you go through Cairns Airport, you are traveling not only through the airport, but through planes. And my wife and I both asked each other, what can you say, if any, was different about our experience with our son wearing a sunflower lanyard and us traveling? And we both agreed there was nothing. The one thing my wife pointed out, which I didn't know because I didn't hear it, was on our flight home. So the last thing, we've been through an airport, been in a plane, been out of an airport, been back into an airport, and then in a plane to go home. So all that. On the plane home, before takeoff, noticing the thing, one of the flight crew, you know, the customer service, what do they call them these days? The flight attendants. A really fantastic Qantas flight attendant came up, noticing that, and asked my wife if, you know, our son needed anything prior to takeoff. Could we get him? Is there anything he wants, or we could get him prior to takeoff that would help him? So they saw that, a Qantas flight attendant saw that, and they took the initiative to go, I know what that means. Let's go and see if I can help their experience before we've even taken off. Now, we are so over-prepared. We're like, thank you so much for asking. We really appreciate it, but we're good. We've got lots of stuff. But that meant that there was a relationship there, and we were able to check in and out with, you know, this particular flight attendant the whole time. Were the others the same? No, because they have their own areas, and this was clearly her area, so I'm not going to bring them down. But that was a great experience. But that's it. That's it. You go through security, you know, you're going through all these sections and boarding and all this stuff. No one said a peep. No one came near us. No one did anything. Now, it wasn't like we were just strolling through. It's not like it's not a stressful experience. So I guess my point about this is, I'm going to be very clear. This isn't about the sunflower lanyard scheme, being bad or dodgy or no. It's a fantastic idea, a fantastic initiative, implemented by fantastic people who work tirelessly. The problem is, you can come up with a program and give it to people, but they actually have to put it into practice. Now, this is where it always gets controversial for me. I mean, I was like constructively fired from an autism organisation because of a video I did a few years ago when I came back from a holiday and basically said the same thing. The sunflower lanyard scheme simply didn't work, and here's our experience. And they got really annoyed at me, and I was trying to explain why what I was saying was legitimate and warranted and useful, and they refused to accept any kind of bad bad feedback, and they constructively fired me from my work there. And that's fine. I mean, it's not fine. An autistic organization basically bullied out an autistic person for speaking out against something they did that isn't working for autistic people. That shows you everything you need to know about that organization. But that's just a factual experience. But here we are again. I'm back there. So what's the intention of the sunflower lanyard in airports and on aircraft? What should I expect? And have I experienced that or haven't I? Because, I don't know, is the intention that they can see that and just leave us alone? Is that the intention? Because if that's the case, they did a bloody great job. I actually don't know. What I do know is this argument always gets heated because these organizations will go, well, actually, we have quite a number of young autistic adults. So let's be clear. I want to be really clear. This is my experience. Okay, so autistic adults, potentially, some who have been diagnosed earlier in life, some later in life, but autistic adults in their 20s, to most instances, who are not married, do not have kids, who in effect are their own boss in every aspect of life, who travel from time to time and have nothing but amazing things to say. Right? I'm an autistic person who's traveled many times through this airport or that airport, and I wore it, and they did everything for me and asked me for this and that and helped me so much, right? So that's why you're wrong, Orion. Now here's the issue. I'm an autistic person. I'm married and I have kids, one of which who's autistic. My experience is not your experience. So if you think that it's okay to tick it off and say it works because a small part of the autistic population, presumably, single 20-something autistic adults with literally no other connections, right? They might have a partner. Okay, cool. No wife, no husband, no kids. You think because they're having good experiences, it's working. I think we've all missed the point. I mean, sure, I want it to work for everyone. But if it doesn't work for autistic kids and their families traveling, I think we probably missed the mark of what is a pass and what isn't a pass. And by the way, this isn't about me saying, I'm just angry because it only works for people that don't have kids and a family and responsibilities. That's not true. We all make our own decisions, right? We all make our own decisions. What I'm saying is, don't tell me I'm wrong because your experience being so different is somehow the only experience. It's not. And that's where I get huffy and puffy. So from my experience, apart from one flight attendant on a Qantas flight, I didn't experience any difference in traveling or anything that made our time easier navigating airports and airlines with an autistic child wearing the sunflower lanyard around his neck. I think I also had a strap on, the wrist strap thing. Not a thing. So that's what I wanted to say about, the last thing I wanted to say about that. Now, last thing I want to talk about. For autistic adults, this is one of those love-hate relationships, right? You fear the idea of travel, right? But you may, if doing it, may fall in love with the idea of it or love it. And I've talked about it before. Autistic people, ironically, you don't think this is true, but I'm telling you, you're solo travelers. Now, of course, all autistic people are different. Okay, some have high care needs, high support needs. So I'm talking about autistic people who see themselves as explorers, but don't like the idea of what goes with that. The routine change, the new places, navigating airports and planes and travel and all those things. I honestly think most autistic people in that respect are solo explorers. And in doing so, often have experiences that are far better than if they went with their family. And why is that? Because, and when you think about it, you actually have more control. You can control the controllables. When you eat, where you stay, what you do, where you go. Everything is under your control. You might go away for a week or 2 weeks to some little destination you've always wanted to do. You travel alone. Right? Then you come back to your partner or your family and you live life. Now, you may still go away with them, but we've already discussed, ain't no autistic person going on family holidays if they have an autistic kid for them. It's for the kids. That's why I think solo travel is so important. People don't believe it. But from my point of view, the solo travel, even though you think it's scary, is really the best option. You eat when you eat. You eat what you eat. You want to watch TV in your hotel room all day? Great. You want to walk here, go there, do this, do that? Great. There's no one telling you when to do this now or that now. That's what makes it hard. That's why people get stressed about holidays. So, from my point of view, I encourage it. The idea of exploring your own country, your own state, or the world on your own terms. And this is where I want to talk about the last thing, which is how it impacts you. So I personally think exploring places, going to places, can really only impact you positively. And I think the best way to put it is you grow as a person. I don't care where you go and what you do, in just doing that, in just experiencing, getting there, living there, coming home, you're growing as a person. So that's just core, in my opinion, that's just core psychology. Holidays, going other places, doing new things, create growth. Now, there's this great philosophy called the return flight. People often finish a holiday and say, I don't want to leave. They always think, I don't want to leave. I can't leave here. They feel so cool, they don't want to go back to their life. But in fact, it isn't about the leaving. It's the returning. And how's that different? Okay, so if you had a life, right, this is your life, and you fit in it. This is your life because you fit in this life. And you go away somewhere, and you experience things, and you grow as a person. When you come home, you no longer fit into the life you had because you've grown. Now, that doesn't mean you're supposed to throw that life away and start again. No, that means you're supposed to enlarge your life to take on the things that you've grown, that you may have grown in different skills, in different hobbies, different interests, different passions. So allowing your life to enlarge, to take on those new things means you now fit in your life. You've grown, you've come back, you've let your life enlarge to fit in it, and you actually feel good. But no one does that. No one does that. Most people go on holidays, they come back, they either feel depressed, sad, angry, upset, indifferent, happy, whatever, but they just wade through that. Wade through whatever it brings up, and then hopefully it goes away, and then you're back in your life. But it never goes away, right? Some people get depressed, really sad. That's happened to me. And what I'm saying to you is it's called the return flight philosophy, and it's very simple. In traveling, you grow, whether it's through good experiences or bad experiences. You return to a life you've now outgrown if you don't allow your life to enlarge to now, encompass your new grown self. It's going to feel yuck. You're going to feel like you don't belong anymore. This isn't your life. You don't like your life. You hate your life. You're not happy anymore. These kind of things. People think you're having a life crisis. You're not. Your life is perfectly fine. You're just not allowing all these new things, this new growth to fit, right? You've got to allow it. And from my point of view, I've always had that problem. And I find this is something that I have to look at when I get back. I have to look at, okay, what have I experienced? What have I learned? How have I grown? I know I'm going to be upset and a bit sad because I'm back, but I can fix that by working out, okay, I've grown. What does that mean? Has my priorities changed? Okay, then I need to alter the expectations I have of my priorities. Has my passions, my interests, my thoughts changed? Right? Okay, I need to alter those things. But if you just jam it back into this is how I was, you're never going to feel good. And as an autistic person, these are the things we're going to struggle with regardless, like in all walks of life. We're going to struggle with feeling out of place. I don't fit in here. I don't fit in this job or this family or these friends. Like, this world's not for me. And then you add to that experiencing things and growing, and then realizing why you feel so bad to come back to where you were before you left. And it's literally because you're trying to squeeze yourself back into that life that's not your life anymore. It's not possible to leave your life, go somewhere, grow as a person, and come back to the life that you left in the past. You can only return to the life you live in the present. And if you grow, you're going to need to grow your life with that. So I think that philosophy is something that's really helped me. And I'm not expecting it to help you. I'm just saying it in case it does. Because I did return from holidays in the past very sad, depressed even. because there was something about it that was so good, and I couldn't work out why I hated being home or coming home or getting back into life. I couldn't work out why. But it's because I was forcing myself back into a life I'd outgrown, when I simply just had to enlarge my life to cater for the new things I've added to me as a person. So autistic adults can go on holidays by themselves or with their family. You're going to come back and you're going to have that experience. And then the second challenge is going to be, you feel like now you're back, you need to get back into your life, but then you realize, what's the cost of doing what you've done to get through the holiday you've gone on with your family? The masking, the suppressing, just the sacrifices. Well, that might mean that you aren't going to be able to do the things you need to do. You might have to do nothing for the first few days, the first week. You might have to sleep, watch TV, think about nothing except one thing you have to think about. That's more important to embrace that than to push back and go, no, I will do this because I'm home now and I have to do this. There are some things we have to do, but prioritizing what has to be done and what doesn't have to be done is another key tip. So you would think, well, Orion's back. The first day he's back, he's probably going to want to record content and edit and do things and produce things and get going. That's what I thought too. I can't wait to get home to do more work because that's what I love, right? That's how I relax. Got back Saturday night, did nothing. Woke up Sunday, did nothing. Monday, nothing. The holidays were still going. The boys went back to school on the Tuesday. But for the first, 2 and a bit days, even though there was opportunities, I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. Like, I could do it, but I didn't want to do it. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to just jump back into recording and editing and doing things, because I knew that I was forcing myself to do it, and that feeling told me, then don't do it. Whereas right now, I'm recording a video because I got up, I felt like showering, getting dressed, and doing this. So I did it. But I could have done this days ago. But I didn't, even though I wanted to and knew what I was going to talk about. Because I realized it was like a forced activity. And that is, I guess, from my point of view, the key learnings. I'm just trying to give you my experiences to some way support or validate you. These are the things that I've talked about, are the key learnings I've got from navigating these types of things. And I hope they help in some degree. But, I think it's okay, because this isn't about blaming or even putting the blame on autistic kids, because they're not to blame. But I think it's okay to actually acknowledge the truth that there is a massive load, a massive toll taken by parents of autistic kids. And as an autistic person with 2 kids, I don't even know how I can compare that experience to anyone else's experience. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. But the only reason why I'm doing this, because it's unscripted and unedited, is to spew out some thoughts and feelings and hope in some way that might validate you or make you feel supported or not alone. And that's the only reason why I'm doing it. That, and, I'd rather not leave my room if I could.